you know?
Yeah, it doesn't
But the
match
same
up.
with you. I'm wondering if you like Santino. And
Santino.
people look
It
up at
was
you.
an otherwise electrifying Friday night on WWE SmackDown, held in San Diego. The atmosphere inside the arena was electric. Fans roared with anticipation, eager to witness another thrilling installment of WWE's Blue Brand spectacle. Roman Reigns had just cut a typically commanding promo, calm, calculated, and laced with warnings. The bloodline stood tall, unified under his command, or so it seemed. The tribal chief's absence from the ring had not dulled the aura of dominance his name commanded. With Solo Sikoa stepping up in his place, the storyline had been advancing in unexpected directions. But what transpired after the cameras stopped rolling changed everything. A rumbling beneath the surface. The hidden tensions of the bloodline viewers in the U.S. Watching on the USA Network missed a crucial detail, a small but explosive interaction that was caught on Netflix's international broadcast. Jacob Fatu, the hard-hitting Samoan werewolf, and Solo Sikoa, the bloodline's feared enforcer, stood face to face in the ring. The moment was quiet, but the tension was palpable. Fatu had taken the microphone, urging the crowd to silence themselves and listen to Solo. But Solo did not speak. Instead, he dropped the mic and walked out through the crowd, leaving his cousins and allies stunned. Solo Sikoa's silent statement. Sikoa's silent protest carried more weight than any words. Coming off a loss to Roman Reigns on Raw's Netflix debut, his status within the bloodline had become increasingly unstable. Reigns had reasserted his dominance, declaring himself the one true tribal chief. Solo, long viewed as the heir apparent to the enforcer role, was now facing a credibility crisis, and it showed. Boos rang out from the San Diego crowd as Solo's entrance theme played. The Samoan enforcer wore a look of inner turmoil, his usually unshakable stoicism now painted with doubt. After making his way to the ring, Sikoa stood still, the crowd jeering, Jacob Fatu staring at him from across the ring. Without saying a word, Solo dropped the microphone and exited through the audience, a symbolic walkout that raised more questions than answers. The footage the USA Network didn't air. What US fans didn't see was a brief, emotionally charged exchange just before Solo walked out. Jacob Fatu had taken the mic and addressed the fans directly. "Shut up and listen to Solo," he barked, commanding the attention of everyone in attendance. Fatu handed the mic to his cousin, expecting him to speak his truth. But Solo didn't. That's when the moment unraveled. Fatu's face showed signs of both confusion and betrayal. He turned to Tama Tonga, another powerful addition to the bloodline ranks, who looked equally bewildered. When Solo stepped through the crowd instead of exiting up the ramp with his family, the silence was deafening. The optics were clear. Solo was walking away from the faction, if not physically, then spiritually. Backstage fallout. A fractured brotherhood. What happened backstage after that segment only deepened the mystery. Several fans and insiders who stuck around during the dark segment reported a hushed but heated exchange between Solo and Fatu near the locker room corridor. Though much of the conversation was drowned out by ambient arena noise, key phrases were overheard. "We're family," Jacob said, frustration clear in his voice. "But you're not running things anymore." Solo, calm but intense, replied, "It's bigger than you think, Jacob. Just trust me." Eyewitnesses described the exchange as tense, with both men eventually going their separate ways. Solo disappearing into the tunnels, while Fatu returned to the locker room, slamming the door behind him. Solo's rising role and growing isolation. For months, Solo Sikoa had risen through the ranks as the bloodline's most consistent weapon. While Roman Reigns took extended absences and the Usos began drifting apart, Solo remained steadfast. He was the silent storm, never needing to speak to be heard. But Reigns' return to prominence on Netflix's debut Raw changed everything. Sikoa's loss to Reigns was more than a defeat. It was a statement. Roman had reclaimed his throne, and by doing so, effectively demoted Solo. The moment forced Sikoa to reflect on his place in the bloodline. It was perhaps the beginning of an internal rebellion, a silent war within the faction that had dominated WWE for over 3 years. Jacob Fatu's arrival. A catalyst for change, Jacob Fatu's entrance into WWE had long been anticipated. Known for his powerhouse offense and intensity that mirrors a young Umaga, Fatu was seen as the future of the bloodline. His presence added a volatile new layer to the faction. Fans speculated that he would become Reigns' next secret weapon, or perhaps a rival to Sikoa's authority. But the internal chemistry was off. Jacob and Solo's dynamic felt less like a brotherhood and more like a chess match. Both were vying for influence, each quietly trying to shape the next chapter of the bloodline legacy, and the clash of alpha personalities became more apparent with every passing week. Theories and speculation, a civil war brews. The internet exploded in speculation. Was Jacob being denied the role he was promised? Was Solo threatened by Fatu's growing popularity? Had Reigns orchestrated the entire moment to test their loyalty? One theory even suggested that Roman was manipulating his family from afar, deliberately sowing seeds of dissent to see who would remain loyal in his absence. Meanwhile, Solo remained enigmatic. Backstage reports noted his growing distance from other members of the roster. He no longer traveled with the Usos or shared locker space with the rest of the bloodline. He had become a lone wolf, a man caught between loyalty to his cousin and the urge to carve his own legacy. The role of Paul Heyman, puppet master or pawn? And then there was Paul Heyman. Though not present during this moment, his shadow looms large over every bloodline storyline. Heyman's allegiance has always been to power, whether aligned with Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, or Solo Sikoa, the wise man adapts. Rumors suggest he had been whispering in Solo's ear for months, grooming him as the new centerpiece of the bloodline. But Heyman is a master manipulator. Could he be playing both sides, encouraging Solo's rise while planting doubts in Jacob Fatu's mind? As always, his true intentions remain hidden behind a veil of loyalty and strategy. WWE Hall of Famers Daeguin. JBL's praise adds pressure. On the latest episode of Something to Wrestle, WWE Hall of Famer JBL spoke openly about Jacob Fatu. "I'd love to work with Jacob Fatu," he said. "He's awesome. My God, that'd be so much fun to work with a guy like that." Such public praise only added fuel to the fire. Fatu wasn't just another bloodline member. He was now seen as the next breakout star. And that, in turn, may have intensified Solo's feelings of being overshadowed. The LA Knight factor and Braun Strowman's involvement. As tensions brewed, the bloodline found themselves under siege from the outside as well. LA Knight and Braun Strowman had emerged as thorns in their side. On the same night as the Solo Fatu standoff, Knight launched an attack on Jacob and Tama Tonga, only to be joined by Braun Strowman. This set up a high-stakes match between Jacob Fatu and Strowman at Saturday night's main event in San Antonio on January 25th. WWE seems to be subtly maneuvering its pieces. Is this a way to draw Solo and Fatu into individual paths? Or is it merely a smokescreen to disguise a much larger implosion coming within the bloodline? Looking ahead, an explosive showdown on the horizon? The WWE Universe now finds itself holding its breath. Will Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa collide in a faction-shattering rivalry? Could this lead to a full-blown civil war within the bloodline, one where loyalties are tested, betrayals are inevitable, and Roman Reigns returns once more to choose a side? The possibilities are endless and thrilling. Conclusion: blood is thicker than water, but is it stronger than ambition? In the world of WWE, where family, legacy, and power collide, even the smallest off-air moment can have massive repercussions. Solo Sikoa's silent exit and his cold exchange with Jacob Fatu may have seemed subtle, but they may have triggered the biggest implosion the bloodline has ever faced. One thing is certain: WWE is carefully crafting a masterpiece. And when the dust finally settles, the question won't just be who stands atop the bloodline, it'll be who survives it.